Hi, Jesse here at J2 Taxidermy. We're here in Belgrade, Montana. We're a beetle cleaning facility, one of the largest ones here in the state. We're going to do a quick video on how to effectively, efficiently skin out a deer skull, whether you're wanting to do your own European mount or save some money by getting it skinned out to take to another taxidermist to get cleaned out for you. Or if you're just out in the back country and you want to save some weight, stripping it down of all the hide, lower jaw, eyes, it really cuts down a lot of weight. Deer shave off good 5 to 10 pounds. Elk can shave off anywhere from 20 to 30 pounds, which we'll do a video here on an elk as well. But we got a deer right now. This is our off season. This guy was fresh frozen, so he'll be a nice one for demonstration. So basically, the only things you really need for this part are a pair of gloves if you want them, and a sharp knife. We just use a scalpel handle with a number 60 Havalon blade. So how I like to do it, there's lots of different ways. I've skinned upwards of 10,000 skulls, and from what I've done, this is by far the most effective, efficient for me to do. So I'm just going to show you that right now. So a lot of guys will like to slit up the right up the middle and peel it back either way. I'm a little different. I'm going to actually start right here in the mouth, right there, and I'll actually cut up that, and then I'll go in between the ear and the antler and basically cut it all the way around to the next side. This really helps with getting the ears and everything out of the way while you're peeling the face off. So once we got that cut done there, you can see it all the way around. I'll cut between the ears all the way back to wherever it has ended, wherever it was cut off the neck. And then I'll just start peeling away off the ear down each side, right like so. Flip her over, and we will actually do, then we'll do the same with this side. Right like so, and flip her up, and I'll just cut this piece off all the way. Some guys leave that on. I like to remove it and get it out of the way. But once we got that piece off, I'll just start right here, going down the face, right like so. Then I'll make my next cut above the eyeball, and you'll see why here in just a minute when it comes time to take out the eyes. And we'll go right up to the base of the antler. This one's a little freeze dried right there, but that's all right. We can rip that off. Once we get that side done there, just flip it over. Kind of do the same on this side. We'll just work that all the way down. This definitely does go a lot faster when you have a freshly harvested deer, antelope, elk. Oh, and our blade broke. You'll find you can go through quite a few of these if you're not careful. That's why we keep plenty in stock. So get that piece removed, which normally I'll peel this whole piece off, but it was pretty freezer dried, so kind of ripped a little. All right, so now that we got that piece in between the spur, sometimes you can just rip it off right on around to the other side and get all the hair off right up to the pedicle or burr. So, and then you'll see kind of why I left this little tuft of hair right here when I cut above the eye. It gives you something to hang on to when you're removing the eyeball. And for removing the eye, you just slide your knife right down, follow it around the eye socket with your blade, being careful not to cut those little fragile bones inside there. Once you got all that cut, you can just slide your knife right in, cut that optical nerve, and your eyeball pops right out. They get real slimy if you cut all that hair off, so that's why I like to leave a little tuft of hair. Gives you something to hang on to. So you can see it's nice clean eye. So for this side here, I'll start by skinning up around the pedicle right up to the burr on that little bit you have left there. Same thing this side, we just skin up to the eye socket without cutting that hair off. If you're going to do a shoulder mount, definitely don't do this. This method. You have one pissed off taxidermist. So we just slide the knife right down the eye socket. Then we'll cut that optical nerve. And we have an eyeball removed. And I like a really sharp knife all the time, so I'm going to swap blades again. A lot of guys will use boning knives. I have had a few videos where I just use a regular Victorinox boning knife. Those work really well. Easy to put an edge on. So for getting the lower jaw removed, you just kind of cut right up the hinge joint as far as your knife will go without cutting any of those fragile bones. And then you'll just slide your knife right down the tongue. Careful not to cut myself again. So this one has a little bit of the atlas joint on it, so we'll just get that removed. Basically just cut around it. Right at the joint. There's no need to saw this off. As we don't want to ruin our European mount. It's nice to have that ball joint on the back to use for hanger, for displaying up on the wall, and it's part of the skull, so you just want it to look nice. So then there's two little bones right here. They connect the tongue to the skull. So I just slide my knife right down between those, and then stick it in straight down, straight up, and you can cut it right at that joint. This part does work better with a boning knife to give you a little force, as these blades do break pretty easily. So got that one, so we'll do the same on this side. This is one of the trickier parts of getting the lower jaw off. You don't need to necessarily get those taken off, but for getting the lower jaw off, it really does make it nice. Deer, not a huge deal. You can usually muscle them, but definitely elk, bison, moose will be a whole lot easier. So now you got the tongue somewhat removed. Just slide right up the hinge joint. Again, just getting any of that loose stuff. And then your jaw will pop right off with little to no effort. So then what we do is just clean up some of this meat inside the eye socket. We do this to gives it less meat for the bugs to eat on our end, and does shave a little bit of weight. If you're boiling it, it's a lot less to cook. And if you're going to still in camp and going to be a few days before you get out, it does help dry it up a little bit. helps prevent maggots from, or flies setting in, getting too many maggots on it, which that can stain your skull green or brown for an end product, whether you're boiling, beetling, macerating. I'll cut some of that. A little bit of the roof of the mouth off. Deer, I usually don't do so much of. Elk, moose, buffalo, I'll remove that completely just so the bugs don't have to eat all that and we can get them going through the bugs as quickly as possible. Then there's a little chunk of meat right behind the eye socket on these, up against the skull. Just helps remove that, helps them dry out. But basically anything you can get with a knife really helps getting off. So we'll do the same on this side. And you want to hold, when you're doing this, you want to hold your knife so you're not slicing into the skull if you're going to do a European mount and leaving cut marks. That's about it for what we do on them. So that's about all you really need to do. This saves tons of weight if you're in the backcountry, especially on elk. Really helps for when you do take, if you do take it to another taxidermist or bring it in for a beetle job. Gets you pushed basically the front of the line for that particular day, for say, as far as not needing to get skinned and going through the skinning process. The only other thing we'll do on these is we'll remove the brain. You can scoop it out in the field. That'll really help also keep maggots away as well. What we do here is we just use an air compressor, which I'll do a separate video on that, on how we get the brains out. That's a real fast process. We can usually have brain out in less than 2 seconds. So, I will do a video as well of me speed skinning one of these. You can do it really fast once you get proficient at it. My last timed deer video that I did was 2 minutes and 30 seconds from basically the start to finish. I did slow it down just so you can kind of see what I'm doing, because when I'm going fast, my hands fly. So, yeah, appreciate you watching the video. Make sure you like and subscribe. There'll be a lot more videos to come. I do have an antelope that will be putting a video up as well. It's a very similar process, minus when you're getting the hair off from around the horns. Yeah, appreciate it and have a good one. Happy hunting this year.